British monarchs are not supposed to have opinions. Charles III has already expressed many of his. The death of Queen Elizabeth II marked the end of an era for the monarchy in more ways than one. She was the last senior royal from a generation that will soon seem alien to modern monarchists. During her 70 years on the throne, Elizabeth gave only one media interview, which was limited to the subject of her coronation. She never publicly stated a strong opinion on any subject that could be considered political or controversial. She avoided any kind of public intervention into how the public institutions of the UK should be run. In fact, the most controversial political moments during Elizabeth's reign came from the indiscretion of others. Former UK Prime Minister David Cameron said that the Queen purred in delight when Scotland voted to remain part of the UK in a 2014 independence referendum. The Sun newspaper speculated 2016 that the Queen supports Brexit, something that former Buckingham Palace Communications Director Sally Osman was quick to rubbish while interviewed on CNN earlier this week. Compare this to the royals who now lead the monarchy into a new, more uncertain future. Elizabeth's eldest child, now King Charles III, embarrassed the family when letters he wrote to former Prime Minister Tony Blair between 2004 and 2005 were published. While the letters seemed fairly innocuous, focusing on things like subsidies for farmers and, amusingly, the merits of publishing private letters such as these, add the fact that the first in line to the throne was so happy to express political views to the Prime Minister alarmed those who supported the convention that the monarchy is apolitical. Charles has also controversially supported using public money to provide homeopathy on the UK's state-funded National Health Service. NHS England said in 2017 it would no longer fund homeopathy because of a lack of any evidence for its effectiveness did not justify the cost. However unimportant knowing Charles' views on these matters might have seemed at the time, it's worth remembering that for the entirety of her reign we knew virtually nothing of Elizabeth's personal views, let alone how she felt government funding should be distributed. The monarchy has a huge amount of indirect power in that it can influence public opinion on a matter, which is arguably more important than lobbying ministers, says Kate Williams, a leading royal historian and professor of public engagement with history at the UK's University of Reading. She points to the time Elizabeth II said that Scottish voters should think carefully about future while leaving a church service in Scotland ahead of the referendum in 2014. While that comment in isolation was probably aimed to be neutral, in the context of the referendum both sides could claim it was an endorsement of rejecting independence. Williams adds, the seemingly incompatible mess of a monarch sharing views on such matters while remaining apolitical becomes murkier the further we generationally move from the late Queen. The Prince and Princess of Wales were, as the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, very public campaigners for mental health. William, who will take the throne after Charles, has spoken on the record about his own struggles with mental health, particularly following the death of his mother, Diana, Princess of Wales. William has also used his platform to speak out against racism in football, heavily implying at a time when it was a huge controversy in the sport that he supports players taking the knee before matches, an issue that has prompted a huge backlash for many football clubs in the UK. And the now first in line has had a difficult relationship with the British media, particularly the BBC, following revelations that one of its journalists, Martin Bashir, had used nefarious methods to secure an interview with his mother when she was extremely vulnerable following her divorce from Charles.